The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring those who impact the sports, impact youth sports in our community. Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at kslsports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. It's kslsports.com/contest. kslsports.com/contest. It is time for the top 3 stories of the day, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. J. Brooks, cherish your loved ones with J. Brooks Jewelers. You can find them online, jbrooksjewelers.com, and explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. Valentine's Day is coming up on Saturday. I'd recommend stopping by today on your way home from work. Christian, where are we starting today?
Number 1, big game for the Cougs last night. They snap their 4-game losing streak at Baylor. A.J. DeBonsa and Rob Wright each played the entire 40 minutes.
This was a game that BYU needed. It wasn't a must-win. I don't necessarily believe in that last night, but BYU needed this type of victory badly, and they got it. And before I get into why it was great, because it didn't solve all of their problems. They gave up 94 points. They gave up 37 points to a true freshman. A.J. DeBonsa's defense is still not good enough. He's got to find a way to impact the game more on that, and it's not just on him. It's the rest of the roster as well. We know Richie Saunders is not going to be a great defensive player. They've got to figure out how to fix that. Yada, yada, yada. I get it. BYU so badly needed this exact type of victory against another star lottery pick freshman in Yesufu from Baylor to come out there and win a game in which once again they started slowly and they were down, double digits, if not close, early in the first half. Battled back, tied the game up at halftime, and then played in a very difficult environment in Baylor where BYU is going to have a huge target on their back, not just because the number 1 or number 2 overall pick is coming into their home arena to play, but also because it features Robert Wright, former Baylor star who left Baylor to go play at BYU. So BYU was going to have a huge target on their back going into this game, and they found a way to get a victory facing what adversity you face in that situation. That was what was impressive. Furthermore, and maybe most importantly, is that it's not Neo in the Matrix recognizing that he's the one. But I did think there were moments where A.J. DeBonsa looked around and the game felt slow to him and he realized, I'm just going to drive past this dude and dunk on him. I'm just going to drive past this dude and use my superior athleticism, ball handling, size to finish at the rim or pull up for a mid-range jump shot. It felt like all the pieces fit together for AJ the best they could. And truthfully, because of the way BYU's roster is built, because they still only got 4 points off their bench last night, they are not going to get a lot from Keba Keita because the shots simply are not there for him to shoot a whole lot. He had 4 personal fouls in 15 minutes last night. He was not as good as I think he needs to be if BYU is going to make a serious run to the Final Four. But with that being the case, AJ does have to become the LeBron James of college basketball. And he went out and in 40 minutes scored 36 points. He had 7 assists. He had 5 rebounds, all of which led the team minus the 5 rebounds, but those were third most on the team behind Saunders and behind Bop off the bench. So that's what they needed to do. So good for AJ. He had to come out and be a superstar, and he was. And that's what BYU is going to need the rest of the season. They need him to come out and be that guy every night if they want to compete at the highest level.
BYU had a pretty sizable lead like halfway through the second half, and then Baylor started to kind of claw back towards the end of the game. And for a true freshman, it would be really easy to kind of sense that collapse impending and start to panic. But BYU kept going back to AJ. They kept going back to him, and it didn't faze him at all. He just kept doing his thing. And, I mean, how many games in a row has he scored 30 points, right? He has been phenomenal over the last 2 weeks. You mentioned the defense needs to improve, but offensively, AJ has been everything that BYU has dreamed of and more.
Yeah, and he's going to have to continue to be because, I don't know if he's going to become elite superstar defensive player. And maybe it's because of the burden he has to carry offensively. Like when he gets to the NBA and he doesn't have to score 35 a night for BYU to have a chance or for his team to have a chance, maybe his defense is going to improve. It needs to if he wants to be, one of the all-time great players. And the truth is he has those types of tools. He has that type of upside to be one of the great players over the next 10, 15 years in the NBA. But it's going to take improvement. as is the case with everybody. I also want to recognize that teams get better. Players get better. You have to face adversity throughout the season. Now, the hard part in college is you just don't have a very long season to improve. A lot of guys don't make huge strides throughout the season, but the best players do. Cooper Flagg last year, by the end of the season, was worlds better than where he was at the beginning of the season at Duke. Same can be said for Con Knipple. And if you can get that from AJ, we still have not gotten close to seeing BYU's overall potential this year. And I'm leaving room for him to continue to get better and this team to continue to get better, even this late in the regular season, to make a big run in March. And last night might have been the first step. All right, what's next?
Number 2, ultimate tank-off tonight, Jazz versus the Kings.
I will say the Jazz aren't tanking this game, and I don't know who's going to play in the fourth quarter or the second quarter or the first quarter. I don't think the league should mandate how many minutes you play, though I think they may have told the Jazz, we really like it when your guys play 25 minutes, and maybe we will lay off you if they play 25 minutes. That's purely my guess. I could be making that up, but that is something I would guess. But the Jazz last night sent out an injury report. I don't remember exactly what time it was, 6 o'clock, maybe a little bit earlier than that, 4 o'clock. And it said, Lauri Markkanen out for rest. The entire Twitter world was going crazy about the Jazz not playing players in the fourth quarter. 40 minutes later, I don't know if Lauri had a great nap, but the Jazz updated, Lauri Markkanen updated, available. My true belief is that the Jazz saw the injury report from the Sacramento Kings at the same time. And if you're a Kings fan in Salt Lake City, A, God bless you. B, you're not going to see any of the players from that team actually get on the floor. I don't have it up in front of me right now. Maybe you can pull it up quickly, Christian, but I believe it's no Russell Westbrook. It's no Zach LaVine. I believe it's no DeMar DeRozan. It's no Sabonis. You're not going to see any of their better players.
Malik Monk as well.
Malik Monk also out. They are tanking this game.
And DeAndre Hunter.
You're right, who they just acquired at the trade deadline. Oh, so many of these players have been available in recent games. It's weird that they all can't play. I wonder if we should throw the integrity of the NBA on this game between the Sacramento Kings and the Utah Jazz on Wednesday, February 11th. I'm not going to do that. I think that would be ridiculous. But you're not going to see them. And I think what the Jazz did, honestly, is they saw that injury report. They said, we could try to lose this game. In fact, they did it against Miami, and it didn't work. We could try to lose this game against Sacramento. It's just not going to happen. So we're going to go out there and win this game. Lowry's going to be available. Jaren Jackson's going to be available. This is going to be one of the last times I think you're going to see the Jazz, especially at home, because, again, the player participation policy does not apply the same at home as it does on the road. I think this is going to be one of the last times, if not the only time this season, you see the starting lineup that features Jaren Jackson Jr., Lauri Markkanen, and Jusuf Nurkic all together. I think they're going to hammer the Kings. They're going to give Jazz fans a big reason to celebrate Jaren Jackson Jr. being on the team. And then I suspect we will see far more aggressive injury report from the Jazz tomorrow with rest, despite the fact that they're going into the All-Star break the game after against the Portland Trailblazers. All right, what's next?
Number 3, Ben, that's a nice big glass floor you got over there.
What did you say?
Big glass.
Oh, a big glass
That's a big
floor.
glass floor over there.
The Big 12 announced a new floor. It's going to be used during the conference tournament. It looks cool. It absolutely looks cool. I will tell you, my most curmudgeonly take is that we do too much with basketball floors. I do not like the in-season tournament floors. I think they're insane. I do think we are a grown-up league if we're covering basketball, especially now at the college level with the guys getting paid. You can say, let's just have hardwood. Let's just make it look like classic basketball, because in 10 years when we look back at these highlights and we're going to say, what was going on with that floor? If you've ever watched a Charlotte Hornets game, it's almost unwatchable. It looks like a cartoon. It looks like a Nickelodeon show. What they can do with this is awesome. And it is amazing. And I think as long as they wield this power responsibly, to explain if you don't know what's going on, the Big 12 floor, it's basically a huge LED screen. It's a huge screen, like an iPad screen, that they can change logos, colors, et cetera, fully customizable. I think as long as you do less with it, it's going to be better. If you want to do awesome pregame introductions, show the players' faces, I'm all for that. I think it's great. I hope during the game it doesn't become chaotic. That's one issue. And then the second is because we have seen this in recent years when teams go out there and try and bring in new floors, there are issues with condensation regularly. I do hope that we don't have any games delayed or put off or postponed because there is something wrong with the actual playing surface, because you can have players get hurt. That's a real issue. I know it seems, pearl clutchy. That actually is a fear I would have for for this court. Otherwise, I think it can be cool. And if they do it right, I think it can be excellent, and it can be the future of how we watch basketball. But they talked about putting shot zones out there, putting a shooting percentage from certain spots on the floor out there when guys are playing. I hope we don't see that. That's too much. If you want to watch that on a second broadcast, an alternate broadcast on your subscription, that's fine. Don't force it down people's throats during live action.
Would it be during live action or during all the freaking timeouts that they have?
I would suspect it's during the 15 timeouts that we have in college basketball or the 90-minute halftime that we get. I think that's when they would do it. I hope. But again, less will be more in this situation.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of what they do with the ice during NHL games, right? They project cool graphics and for the intros,
which is great.
Whatever
Love
on there, which can be cool, yeah, but also at the same time, there is a very real chance that this falls on its face and looks dumb, and everybody was like, oh, what was the whole point of that?
Or the court's, not playable. Like that's a concern. So I'm going to trust it now. I'm not going to write it off. I just hope they do it responsibly because it can be a tool. But I know me. I buy a new computer or phone or whatever, and I want to unlock it and see how fast I can get it going. I want to use every little function it has. They need to do the opposite. They need to say, here's the logo. We changed it. Isn't that convenient? Doesn't that make it nice for people watching at home? I hope they don't go nuts with it. All right. We have an update on our Norwegian biathlete who admitted to cheating on his girlfriend yesterday. We will update the story coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.